So how can you define key outcomes for every day, every week, every month, every year? Follow the straightest, simplest, shortest route to those outcomes each and every day so that you don't turn yourself into a victim of busy and you become truly productive. Now, I want to start off today's show by sharing a quote that's often shared with us by our boxing coach, Coach Michael Galimas at Hurricane Boxing here in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, Coach Galimas was a guest on this podcast earlier this year. He's a member of the Carolinas Boxing Hall of Fame, former Golden Gloves boxer, national collegiate champion. And he often tells us that toughness alone ain't enough. I'm paraphrasing. On the wall at the gym, he also has this quote painted, a quote by Floyd Mayweather, considered by many to be the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world during his era. And Floyd said, "He can have heart, he can hit harder, and he can be stronger, but there's no fighter smarter than me." Now, did Floyd hit hard? Yes. Was he tough? Yes. Was he in shape? Yes. Did he work hard in the ring? Yes. Did he train his ass off? Yes. But even he knows that the key was, listen, there's been plenty of boxers in history who were physically tough, who hit hard, who were in great shape, who worked hard, that didn't rise to the level of champion. Floyd knew the difference wasn't simply toughness. It's the same thing that Coach Galimas tells us, that toughness alone won't cut it. Because if you look at human history, our greatest superpowers that have made the world better, that have lifted people out of poverty, doesn't stem from our physical muscles. It stems from our strongest muscle, and that is our mind, human knowledge. Remember, Floyd said, they can hit hard, they can be faster, but if they're not smarter than me, they won't beat me. Toughness alone ain't enough. But that's not what many of us are raised to believe. Many of us are raised with folk stories like, say, John Henry or Paul Bunyan. And by the way, I fully understand the cultural and racial importance of John Henry. I'm not taking away from that. But what I'm saying is we're raised with these stories that would lead us to believe that if we just push our bodies harder and longer, we can achieve anything. And that takes away from the fact that human spirit and achievement is derived not from our physical muscles, but from our mind, from the use of human knowledge. This is what moves us forward. Now, Steven Pinker, in his excellent book, Enlightenment Now, I'm reading it now, I highly recommend it. Now, he has a chapter on meeting our environmental challenges. And he has a quote that he says, one key is to, quote, decouple productivity from resources to get more human benefit from less matter and energy. Now, let's take that out of the environmental realm and apply it to our lives. What do I always say? True productivity isn't just getting more shit done. It's getting more of the right outcomes achieved with less effort. Through history, human knowledge has been used to create technology that allows us to achieve more with less. Think about the wheel, think about fire, think about the steam engine. So how can we use our knowledge to become truly productive, to achieve more of the right outcomes in our lives with less effort? This is what we're talking about. Toughness alone, physical brawn alone won't do it. That's not to take away from the importance of being physically fit and strong. And yes, there are plenty of people in this world who need to be more physically tough. But how can you use your human knowledge to define the right outcomes you need to achieve and devise ways to use less effort to achieve those right outcomes? That's what true productivity is. That is the definition of productivity. Now, I've talked about some of the ways we can do this. One way is becoming radically outcomes focused. Instead of having this diverse set of to-dos and tasks throughout the day, I ask a lot of people, what did you achieve today? Well, I got 25 things done on my to-do list. That's not true achievement. That's not true productivity. Identify those 3 outcomes you need to achieve to win the day, achieve them, and then you have time to do other things that fulfill you in your life. You have more time to deal with the unpredictable shit that's going to happen in our day because shit happens. And on a previous show, I talked about disorder and the disorder that is inherent in our world. And we have to acknowledge that disorder exists. We have to plan for it. And by stocking our day full of a wish list of 30 to-dos, we're not acknowledging that disorder exists because we're setting ourselves up for failure. Now, I did a whole podcast on that. I urge you to go back and listen to that or watch my video. But the fact of the matter is that when we start to buy into the mindset that toughness, physical toughness alone is the key to success, then we allow ourselves to be manipulated by the hustle and grind pornographers who would have us believe that the key to success is merely grinding, that the key to success is effort, that effort equals productivity, that effort equals results, that inputs equal outcomes. That is total bullshit. I'll sleep when I'm dead. There's a lot of hustle and grind pornographers out there who would say that, these success gurus. That ignores once again that the key to human achievement, the key to progress, the key to productivity lies not with how hard we can push our bodies. It lies with the use of human knowledge. So how can you use the intellectual firepower with which you were born to define key outcomes for every day, every week, every month, every year, follow the straightest, simplest, shortest route to those outcomes each and every day so that you don't turn yourself into a victim of busy and you become truly productive? Because again, toughness alone ain't enough. It takes human knowledge. It takes the strongest muscle in your body. And throughout history, humans have shown that their greatest superpowers derive not from our physical brawn, but from our minds and human knowledge. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more on my Productivity Superhero webinar this Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to curtmercadante.com/productive webinar to sign up. There's a link in this post. We're going to talk about how you can stop turning yourself into a victim of busy and be truly productive, how you can become a productivity superhero, how you can use human knowledge, use your mind, because again, toughness alone won't cut it. Effort alone won't cut it to become truly productive, less overwhelmed, less frustrated, and yes, less busy. This is the Freedom Club podcast. I'm your host, Curt Mercadante. Thank you so much for joining.